Fanzone, united by the game, powered by Moore's World of Sport.
Welcome to Fanzone, your hottest destination for all Zimbabwean sport, to bring you passion, drama, and non-stop action, all happening here in the Fanzone studio. My name is Sips.
And I'm Steve Vickers. Great to be back on the show after a break. Loads to talk about again this week. Washington Navaya is the 2025 Soccer Star of the Year. We're saying it was a surprise. Why is that, given that he was the top goal scorer for the season? We'll dig into that. Lots of opinions, lots of thoughts on the Soccer Star Awards. Also, this week we are talking rugby and joined by Brian Matamba, who is a rugby analyst. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
Great to have you on the show. World Cup, of course, 2027, but we're going to be talking about the Nations Cup next year, which will be so key for the Sables.
Very key in our preparation.
So we're going to dig into that. Simba Chiminya, a StarFM sportscaster, also back on the show. Welcome, Simba.
Hi, Steve. So welcome back to the show. Yes,
Hi, thanks. It's been a long time. I made it just in time for the Soccer Star Awards. I've got stories for days for you there, Sips.
Yeah, so there is so much to talk about, and as we had said before, it's that time of season. We've watched the teams win the leagues, get promoted. We've seen teams get relegated, but it's also the time where players get recognized for their hard work throughout the season. Last week, the Castle Lager released their top 11, and as Steve has mentioned, on Friday, the awards were finally held for the Soccer Star of the Year. Steve, you were there. Tell us the stories. What are your surprises? You already mentioned Navaya was a surprise for you, but tell us all about that evening.
Yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed myself. I spoke to so many people, coaches, personalities, some of the players as well. National team coach Mario Marinica was there as well. Chatted briefly with him. He says he knows how to strategize against opponents, because I chatted about how he beat the Warriors 1-0 with Malawi at the Nations Cup, the 2021 edition. So it was very, very interesting. Let me start with, I can't go too much into this one, but the most interesting thing, some of those players who have been dropped from the Warriors squad because of injury are not injured. And I can't really go into that in any more depth, but I can tell you quite authoritatively that some of those players who were dropped a week or so ago because of injury, alleged injury, are not injured. There's stuff that's gone on behind the scenes there. Yeah.
There were a lot of injuries coming through. I looked at the list and I was like, geez, there are a lot of players getting injured. But I was thinking long season, more training. So I just bottled it down to that.
Sure.
But,
Emmanuel Jalai, he's okay. He's back and he's fit and he's ready to go. So that was a big one. Otherwise, the ceremony was glittering as ever. It was terrific. It was well organised. Speeches were pretty dull this time around, to be honest. So we endured an hour of speeches before we got on with the action. And so going into the award, I've been involved in the Soccer Star Awards for 30 years, first as a panelist from the mid-90s, and then I was what's called the convener of selectors for 9 editions from 2010. So that's where I was overseeing the panelists and the voting process. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes with the Soccer Stars, and it means that the best player or players don't always get honoured at the Soccer Star Awards. That's the way it is. There's always, some blocks or negotiating behind the scenes for votes. So we took that into consideration. Indeed, Simba had said Kevin Moyo was thought to be the favourite to take the award because of what was happening behind the scenes. Then it seemed to move along a bit in favour of Emmanuel Jalai at Zimbabwe, and it was interesting when the names were called out. So Jalai was named as the second runner-up, and then we got to Kevin Moyo as the first runner-up. So we all assumed that it was going to be Emmanuel Jalai's name called out. I even wrote it on my clipboard before it was said. And it was Washington Navaya who was named as the Soccer Star of the Year. Not to say he doesn't deserve it, but it goes down as a surprise because in the way that things were believed to be going behind the scenes, it seemed that he wasn't in the picture. But back in the 90s, we had Walter Chuma at Wangi who picked up the award, isn't it, Simba? Because it was the same thing. There were 2 blocks fighting for votes. And I think this time as well, it was along those lines. Everybody would have had Navaya in their top 3. So when you proceed to the second round of voting, he would have been in the top 3. And everybody would have given him some points there, whereas Moyo Ziacha would have not got from others. So, yeah.
I was surprised by Moyo though, Steve, because when I think of the Scotland defence, the first name that comes to my mind is God knows Morirwa. So when Moyo was mentioned in that top 11 pick, I was like, wow, that's interesting to me. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, even when Simba first said that he's rumoured to be the one who's going to take it, because it's very rare for a defender to be named the Soccer Star of the Year for a start. And yeah, Scotland were great, but there's not that many outstanding picks that you would have had there. He played every game. That counted very much in his favour there. So that's why he was the Scotland player of choice, I think, Simba, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, when you look at it, there are some other players that also did well for Scotland. For me, Albert Manenji should also have been in there, but he was not a popular name among many people. I think at times in football, when you've got that name that resonates or rhymes well with people, you get to get, so much in terms of attention and favours. For me, I've always said it that my person was Kevin Moore, and Washington Navaya, he was my second person, and for me it was a toss between the two. And when it was announced that Navaya was a soccer star, I wasn't really surprised. And even Emmanuel Jalai, for me, he was among my top 3. So, when it happens, when it comes to voting, a lot of things happen behind the scenes, like what Steve said. Lots of horse trading will also be happening. So at times you would find popular persons getting in there. And, there will be also some blocks that will be pushing behind the scenes. Because you have a player like Ishmael Nyani. For me, was one of the most outstanding left backs or wing backs in the country during the past season. I also thought that even Ebel Gwatizo was the reason why Dynamo survived relegation. I think when you look at the goals that Dynamo scored, most of them were coming through that left channel. And he ought to have been part of that, Survival. Yeah, but then what happens is, in a democracy like this, it is the numbers that matters most, not probably something that will be really on the ground.
Yeah, and another debate is that often you're looking at those who've won something when you're considering awards, whether it's our Soccer Stars or any other awards around the world. You're going to look at what that player won. That's why, even for Messi, when he won the World Cup, obviously that was going to count in his favour at those ones. So for Dynamos, of course, they didn't win anything, but they did escape relegation. So you would naturally think Scotland would have been the favourites to get the Soccer Star award, but I don't know if you have to win something to be the winner of an individual award, Brian. I don't know what you think.
Well, sometimes it's more about the contribution as a personal player, because like you mentioned that we're expecting Scotland, someone from Scotland to win the Soccer Star, but like we're saying that Dynamos, it's a bigger team and they had a fighting chance and they survived. So sometimes those key things play a role, survival or winning the league. So it depends. But at the end of the day, since Scotland are the new boys, sometimes they don't get the rub of the green.
Yeah. And when you come to Coach of the Year, I think every season it's just naturally gone to the one who's won the league. And I'm not sure if that actually means they're the best coach.
Yeah, I think there was a season when Norman Mapeza was given the Coach of the Year, and he said, yes, I accept it because people have voted for me, but I thought Kumbira Mteokuziwa, when he was still at Herentals, he said he did a fantastic job with the players that were just coming in from Division 1, and they didn't buy big name players.
And they were 7th, I think, in their debut season, isn't it? Yeah.
So the same thing again. For me, I thought Lloyd Mtasa, with the players that he brought in Moza into the Premier League, most of them were playing Premier League football for the first time, and they managed to finish second. So for me, he was my number one coach of the year. I didn't look at what exactly did he win, but what he managed to do with those players. And look, now there is kind of a stambidi for players from Moz by other clubs. It shows that he managed to do something good with them. And also, you look at Kevin Kayindo, from where he took Dynamos and where he ended. And you're talking about winning something. He also won something. And he ought to have been there, because in the league, we only have the Chibuku Super Cup and the league title. And when you do well with in the Chibuku Super Cup, you do have raised your hand to be counted. So I thought that you also have been one of the front runners for the league title.
And others will say this is the Castle Lager Award, so it's not counted. Others would say. So.
Yeah, probably that. But again, still, when you look at how you managed to do well with the same players that were struggling and came in, revitalized those players. I thought you were somebody who could have said, yes, I need recognition for this.
Yeah. And Brian, obviously, with you're a Highlanders fan, and they've had an underwhelming season. Andrew Mbeba was included in the top 11, one of the standout players in that defensive position. For you as a fan, was it a relief, maybe something to take away from an underwhelming season that one of your players is in the top 11 pick?
I think it's sugarcoating how bad the season was when you have someone. Because the Highlanders, like back in the days, they were championship material. But they were actually in the dogfight. So having someone named in the team, it kind of like sugarcoats it kind of like paints the cracks,
Yeah, I totally agree with Brian. And when you look at a team like Ngezi Platinum Stars, Talent Chamboko, I think he was on song of the past season. He did well, but never got that recognition again. And you look at players like even Nixon Yasulu. For me, I thought he was one of the best defenders in the league. But
with Simba Bora.
Yeah, no, with FC Platinum. Yeah, but he didn't get that recognition. So at times, when you've got these big teams, you'll be rest assured that they would get one or two players just to sugarcoat, like what Brian said, except for Caps United. That didn't get any player.
And then also just something I want to bring up again, it's to do with Navaya. Now, back when Neves was still the head coach for the Warriors, one of the journalists asked him in a press conference, you never pick any of the top goal scorers in the PSL. How come is that? And paraphrasing here, Neves, his response was essentially that they're not consistent. Yes, he's the top goal scorer this year, but what about the next year, the year after? They all kind of just fall away. So from our top 3 goal scorers, Navaya, Washington Navaya, Time Machope, and Billy Veremu, will we see those names again in next year's top 3 goal scorers?
If they're still around, definitely. I thought Navaya was pretty consistent, and 17 goals, that's not bad. I mean, if you're 20 goals, then I think you deserve the Soccer Star Award. No questions about it, because that's a really good tally. Other seasons, top scorer has been 14 or lower, so 17 is a pretty good tally. So he did do well there, did Navaya. So credit to him for that, and no reason why he can't carry on next season unless he gets attention from other clubs. But this is why Emmanuel Jalai, for me, I think he deserved the Soccer Star of the Year award. I've argued with so many people about this, and many disagree totally, but he's the one local player that the Warriors then coach Michael Neese believed in to put into the Warriors squad, and he held his own game after game, particularly against Nigeria, against 2 African footballers of the year, Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman, and he's never disappointed the whole season. How many times was he on our Fanzone Team of the Week, week in, week out? And as much, again, this is the Castle PSL Awards, so you need to look at what he achieved, which was avoiding relegation. He didn't win anything, although he did take the Chibuku Super Cup. But the fact that he was picked for the Warriors and nailed down a place there is based on his performances in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. So for me, Jalai deserved it. I argued with others and they would not accept. Some people do agree with me, though.
Yeah, on that one I agree with you on the fact that, you look at the strikers get more attention than the defenders. But you look at the defenders that have been consistent. Emmanuel Jalai, even last year, he was in good shape. And then you've got Ishema, which he was also on the Soccer Stars calendar last year, and this year he was also there. I spoke about Kevin Moyo, the way that he also been consistent, and he has been the first runner-up, I think, twice before. So you look at the defenders, nobody really gets to pay attention to them. But if a striker just scores 2-3 goals in a row, and then people start talking about that person as a soccer star of the year or the best player in the league. But when you look at our strikers, they haven't been really consistent. Who was the top goal scorer last season? It was Linus Chukua.
Yes.
And he's nowhere near. And then Scotland shipped out to Chicken Inn in the previous year. And when you look at our strikers, I think the only person who has been really consistent in terms of scoring over the years has been William Anondo, save for this year, past season that he was affected by injuries and didn't get to play so much. But we don't have consistency in terms of our strikers.
Yeah, sure.
Well, this time of year.
Yeah, maybe that's why the Warriors also lacking that bite. Strikeforce, we're not scoring goals at Warriors as well.
Yeah. Well, let the debates continue at this time of year. We're also going to introduce our Fanzone Team of the Year. Now, remember, this is our own opinion, so you can tell us what you think, but also give us your Team of the Year. So, Steve, it's over to you. What's the Fanzone Team of the Year?
Pretty close to what was selected by the Soccer Stars, but not completely. So, goalkeeper, very hard really to say who was the most outstanding keeper, and we'll go along with William Tole, the towering Malawi national team keeper at Zimbabwe. Defenders, Kevin Moyo, yes. Andrew Mbebe, yes. Jalai, yes. Midfield, I would put in Ishmael Wadi, somewhat controversially maybe for Caps United, but they didn't have any player there at all. And we do tend to have a bit of a bias towards the second half of the season, even the final third of the season. If you look back earlier on, Brian Kadamanja, Bruce Kangwa were both doing really well in defence for Caps in the first half of the season. But we did see Ishmael Wadi making a big impact for Caps. No doubt Abubakar Moffat at Moors came in halfway through the season, impressed game after game. Emmanuel Jalai, certainly so many assists from him, had the best season he's had at Zimbabwe. For Triangle, Menashe Bamara was not among the 11 players selected, but we watched him quite a few times and he impressed over and over. Diminutive playmaker in midfield for Triangle. Really good season from Bamara. And up front, we go along with those top three scorers, Navaya, Machope and Billy Veremu. Player of the year, for me, as I say, it's Emmanuel Jalai. You can agree or disagree. Well, you might agree because he did win the Fans' Choice Award. So that's in his favour as well. For me, Coach of the Year, I would say Kelvin Kaindu, because you could have put half the coaches in the PSL to coach Scotland, they probably would have won the title anyway, especially after those mid-season signings with the likes of Norwich Musona. Kaindu, Dynamos were 8 points deep in relegation when he took over, and he performed his miracle to get them out. As Simba says, that's not the pattern that we see normally when it comes to voting for a Coach of the Year, but what he did, I thought it was simply outstanding. Yeah,
very outstanding from Kevin Kaindu, particularly when you factor in that, when he left Highlanders, they were almost 20 points ahead of Dynamos. And when he finished the season, they were both on 39 points. And it shows how hard he really worked with Dynamos. During the first half of the season, many people didn't know about Jairus Kasondo. And when he came in, Jairus Kasondo started scoring. And Isaka Mohamed, the Ghanaian defender, I think in the second half of the season was probably the best central defender in the league.
I think so.
But he was Isaac, and he wasn't really playing, before Kevin Kaindu came in. And I've been talking about Ebel Kwatizo, but also the way that it was transformed and that confidence, the way that he was really playing. I agree with you on Kevin Kaindu.
Yeah, but as always, agree or disagree, because you might think that that is not. I also thought Genesis Mangombe, who ensured Triangle's survival, they were bottom when he took over. I thought he could be another big contender as well.
Yes, and when people are talking about the team that are going to be relegated, Triangle were one of those teams, and nobody really thought that they were going to rise from the ashes and manage to survive relegation.
Yeah. So there you are. Free to disagree. So many people disagree with me, Sibs, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah, there are always going to be a couple of agreements and disagreements. But for Brian, if we did the same sort of layout for the Sables, who would be your MVP of the year from the Sables? Yes, this year they haven't had that many tests. I think only 6. But who are some of your standout players from the Sables side?
I'll say Ian Pryor. He's the main reason why we went to the World Cup. His boot. Semi-final against Kenya. He slotted a drop goal. He was on point with his kicking game. Same in the final. I would say Ian Pryor, and he was voted player of the tournament.
Yeah. Obvious choice. What about Tinotendo Mavesere? Very good in that flank position, added in stability in defense. Would you also had him high up the ranks?
No, he definitely is up there, because if you look at semi-final, he was voted man of the match against Kenya. He was colossal, on the breakdown and in scrums and his work rate and his ball carrying skills. So definitely he's up there.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I think I would have had to put him Mafura. I'm a backline player, so a little bit biased towards him, but just the fullback, really going to the high ball, knew how to play in wet conditions as well, kicking under pressure. So he'll be my pick for the Sables MVP, with no obviously tests in November. But yeah, guys, we had the Fanzone, the final prize giving over the weekend at Moores Ngoni Stadium. First of all, to all of you who did come out to Ngoni Stadium, thank you. It was a great turnout. Thank you for being there, for taking time out of your day and enjoying the festivities with us. Steve, it was a good turnout. It was, as we said, it was nice to finally put some faces to the usernames. They all enjoyed getting their TVs. Everything was on display.
Yeah.
It was a great evening.
Yeah, I know, and we're looking forward to bigger and better for next season as well, because I think it's going to be huge. Many more prizes to win and to be part of the fun. I'm shaping up for the predictor already. I'm going to make sure that I set a reminder on my phone every match day, because there were one or two times when I forgot, and I want to be in the running there. And it's just been such a lot of fun, the predictor, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely worth playing for. TVs, our TV winners were so happy. Bicycle winners, car winners. It was a really good afternoon. If you weren't able to come, we do have some footage for you, so let's enjoy and have a look at that.
In 222nd position. 222nd position. Winning an RGR 150 GY motorbike. Please put your hands together for Mugabe Ndini.
Maoko kuna Mugabe Ndini.
RGR 150 GY motorcycle. Please put your hands together and welcome them to the podium. Ordinancy.
Congratulations to Ordinancy. Moko.
Tell us about your non-deplume name. Sweepstake winner in 317th place. Yes, 317. Winning, courtesy of Fanzone, Suzuki by CFO Mobility. Winning a Suzuki Eco Panel van worth $14,600. Please put your hands together for Junie.
Congratulations to Junie. Gatsumravere Maoko win a motorcycle worth 14,000. Congratulations to you.
Come and stand here and get your check from the CFO team.
Ndaitoti pangu magames apera kandipa number 317. Ndazovara inonzwa kuya pinanzi shamwari wawina sweepstake that muri kunyepa wakomana. Kanza check on our Facebook page for Fanzone ndaona for sure ndawina Suzuki Eco van.
Now this person didn't rely on luck. Week after week, round after round, they proved that they know something about Zimbabwe football, probably better than anyone. Out of 8,165 players, over 28 rounds, never missing a round, this champion scored 1,279 points from 251. absolutely fantastic. He was right there. He was always in contention. Ladies and gentlemen, our Fanzone winner, predictor winner for 2025. Please put your hands together for Simba!
Gaturavere Simba Moko is our number 1 Fanzone winner.
Wow! Congratulations. Simba, we need to get to know you well because you have done a fantastic job with this predictor game.
Yes.
All I can say is you know your football.
Yes.
Tell us.
I do.
Right. What was your tactic every single week? You never missed a week. You were up there, you were down, you were up, you were down, but you were always so consistent.
I think I was just lucky. There's no special tactic. I don't think so.
You didn't listen to press conferences. You didn't look at coaches' press conference meetings. You didn't watch Fanzone to get ideas. Was it just yourself working out your predictions every single week?
I did watch a little bit of Fanzone, but I think when it comes to that, it just I don't feel like I don't know.
And what do you think was your best pick of the season? Which game do you think turned the table for you?
I think it was match day 32.
Yeah?
I scored about 60 points.
Yes.
All right, guys, so if you are jealous, if you saw those cars, if you saw those TVs, and you got jealous, you are lucky. There's still one more prediction tournament to do this year. There's going to be the Pride of Africa, the AFCON Predictor. So there already are 8,000 of you registered for the PSL Predictor. Now it's going to the Africa Predictor. There's stand a chance to win TVs, power banks, and speakers. So if you're jealous, fanzone.co.zw, sign yourself up because the prizes are coming thick and fast and you're going to be enjoying the AFCON Predictor. With AFCON, obviously the Warriors are going there. They've had the camps, as Steve has said. A couple of them have been left out of the squad. What's the latest news when it comes to the Warriors, Simba? Is there an announcement to be made?
Yeah, there's an announcement that is going to be made on the 10th. That's when the coach, Mario Marinica, is going to announce his final squad that will be going to Morocco. So most of the foreign-based players are expected to come in Tuesday, and then Wednesday they are going to have a training session, and end of day Wednesday, then the coach is going to announce the final squad to take to Morocco.
So it's not a lot of time for the international players.
Yeah, not lots of time, but I think the coach pretty knew the players that he was going to take, and used those games against Algeria and Qatar to come up with the players that he's going to take. But I understand from the conversation that he has also been impressed by quite a number of locally based players, and he's going to take some of them to Morocco. I think it's all about philosophy, because when we had Mechanis, he didn't believe much, in the local based players. He opted for the foreign based players, and he said he already has got his number one, his players that he's going to take there. But he has been impressed by the players that are playing locally, and he has been saying that nobody's guaranteed the jersey, and he can take anyone. So for me, even from the final squad, you're going to see one or two surprises, and then from that, after Africa Cup of Nations, as long as Marinica is going to be the coach, we are going to see a wholesome changes, because he has been on players being disciplined, and the talk that has been there about some players being dropped is also about discipline. A lot happened within the camp in Qatar, and nearly sent home some of the senior players because of indiscipline. So he's very, very, very firm on discipline, and it seems like he's also getting support from Zifa to say, as long as the team is going to get the results, we are going to give you the support that you need. And if you could read from the performance that the team had against Qatar, it was because he had did a lot of work on the players in terms of training, and also talking to say nobody is guaranteed a jersey. I can drop any one of you. It doesn't matter who he is.
Mm-hmm. And then from the new local players, a part of that team list, Are you expecting to see anyone? Is there a particular name you're hoping to see in the Warriors squad?
Yeah, I think Ishmael Wadi might be going to Morocco. It seems like he's impressed. Tadiwa Chapchichi is also impressed, the coach. And Ishmael Nyani might also get crushed in there. Not many people have been really knowing about him, but he has also been doing well. So the coach just, told the players, anybody who performs is going there. So I think now he's just trying to select, say, who am I going to drop? He's probably having a headache because it seems like the players really turned up, particularly the local based players. They are really showing that they want to die for the coach. And when you die for the coach, you select you because you know that he's not going to have any headaches. And, if you look in the past games, there wasn't this really fight from the players. Now we have a coach who is saying, you look at Michael Nis, you look at even Brito before him, Jairus Tapera. You could even set the team yourself. When the players are called into camp, you'd know pretty well that this is going to be the first choice goalkeeper, this is right back, left back. But with Marnika, things have just changed. Nobody's guaranteed.
It's shaking up things.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be interesting, I think, giving a chance to the local players. Of course, I don't think you can base too much on one win against Qatar, but it's an encouragement. Cameroon fired their coach last week, so in fact we're in a better position than some other teams there. I'm also wondering the big international story, Mohamed Salah with his big fallout with Liverpool. Is that going to make him more fired up when we face Egypt in our opening game, or is it going to give him some psychological, some mental issue there maybe? Of course, even if he's not at 100%, Egypt is still a fearsome squad, but that could just be some glimmer of hope for us there that he might not be in the right space mentally. So that one I think will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting. But I think also for the local players, it's given them incentive again, Marinika coming into the Warriors head coach position, because with Nies, again, as we said, he had favoured the international players. So I think a lot of them were kind of just wafting through the season. But now with Marinika, this camp, I'm sure a lot of them will be fired up for the season, especially with the call-ups. Martina getting the call-up, Bubakar Moffat, Billy Varemu, Emmanuel Ziocha, Andrew Mbeba, again, some players who weren't called up before. So I think maybe next season, more standards and more players will be even hungrier to make that Warriors.
Yeah, I think it's now more encouraging for the local players that they have a coach who seems like they believe in him. And if you also look at the Warriors in the past, the mainstay has always been the local based players in terms of the defense, because you look at the dream team, even most of the defenders were playing locally, and even yes, our standards might have gone down a bit, but look, even when you played the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations against Egypt, Divine Lunga was just probably 3 years or 2 years playing in South Africa, was more or less like coming in from the local league at Chicken Inn, but he had that outstanding game, managed to mark Mohamed Salah out of that game. So you show that there isn't much of a gap, between the local-based players and the foreign-based players in terms of our players, because we don't have foreign-based players who are really playing for outstanding teams outside the country. So the local players can still hold their own. What they just need is that confidence and belief that you can do it, and a coach who knows how to play them.
Yeah. Yeah, so lots to think about there as the Warriors prepare for AFCON and their international tournament. It's also exciting news for the Sables. The World Cup draw was made last week, and we are on Pool F alongside England, Wales and Tonga. So our rugby analyst and expert here, it's exciting. It's still a little bit of time until the World Cup, but it's a tough pool in Pool F. What are your thoughts on this pool?
I would say it's a group of death, because any team, there's no easy team from Tonga, Wales, no easy team. And if you look at the draw, as Zimbabwe have never met England, it's our first time. Then Wales, we've played them 3 times. The last time was at Police Grounds, and we got a hammering. Then Tonga as well, we've played them at Police Grounds. So we've played Wales 3 times, Tonga once, England 0, but they're all highly ranked than us.
Yeah, out of the World Cup teams, we are ranked the lowest. We are supposed to be the worst side there, or at least in terms of skill. But what are the chances of us winning a match in the World Cup? Steve pointed out that Namibia, last time around, they've qualified for 3 World Cups in a row, 2015, 2019, and 2023, yet they haven't won a game yet. So what are the chances of the Sable edging Tonga or Wales, unlikely England, but any of those sides?
Realistically, I don't think we'll win a game, but the biggest plus we get is participating with these top nations, and also that next year we're going to have Nations Cup, which is going to be preparation. We're going to play Tonga again, we're going to play England, we're going to play Canada, USA, Chile, and Uruguay, and some more. So they'll give us an insight what we expect to come the World Cup. So it's sort of a preparation. So if we can really gauge yourself with the Nations Cup next year, and come World Cup, we'll know what we need. If we're going to maybe target the Tonga game, I would say Tonga is the game we can target as a nation.
So Brian, we think we're highly unlikely to win a game in 2027 at the World Cup, but we're going to be looking for massive sponsorship, corporate support. How do we sell that if it's clear that we're unlikely to win?
How we sell it, next year we're playing Nations Cup, so for any corporate sponsor, 6 big tests with big nations who are all in the top 24. So that's where the corporates can come in and get mileage, because you're on the international stage and you're with the brand that's going to the World Cup. Not every sport in Zimbabwe qualifies for the World Cup. They've achieved this the first time in 36 years. So it's very crucial that the corporate can throw a weight to them. It's a success story to follow. Yes, it's our first time in 36 years, so we should not expect so much, but it's worth investing.
Right, so it's advantageous that our qualification was 2 years ahead of the tournament. Yeah.
That's the plus now, so we can build up. And thank God that the Nations Cup, which is next year, is funded by World Rugby, and they funded this tournament so they can prepare lesser nations that come World Cup, they can be competitive. Because at the end of the day, as viewers or fans, we don't want a boring World Cup. We want an exciting. We want closely contested matches. So that's the idea behind the Nations Cup.
Yeah, so we've qualified for the 2027 World Cup. We've got Nations Cup, Nations Series next year. But one of the most important things that we must do from now on out is to become a regular at the World Cup. So we should already start to be focusing on 2031. So it means developing our talent. And with our rugby system, there's often a gap between under 20 and then leading into the Sables side. So do you think Pete Bernardi, the head coach of the Sables, he'll be more involved with Sean D'Souza, who's the under 20s head coach? Will there be more collaboration, do you think? Or should there be more collaboration?
I think there'll be more collaboration. If you look at Edward Segalk and the Sables setup, he came from Sean D'Souza's under 20, but he's played the last 2 years and he's now part of the setup. So I'm sure there will be cross-pollination between the two setups going forward.
Yeah, and the other thing is, on the other hand, looking for possible players that we can get who are in the diaspora who qualify for Zimbabwe.
The rumour mill, there's Gary Porter. He plays for the Stormers and he's got ancestral roots with Zimbabwe. The rumour mill is saying that he's put his hand up for the Sables. Then Eli Sneeman, he is not committed, but he plays. He was the vice captain for the Zimbabwe under-18 rugby. Then he captained the SA under-20. He's now based in Italy now. He plays his rugby for Benton in Italy in the URC. So he's one of the players probably we'll be looking to beef up so we can take our game a notch higher.
So if we get them, maybe one or two others, does that give us then a chance of maybe competing against Tonga?
It will definitely give us a shout because we're now bringing professionals. Week in, week out, they're already playing against players equivalent to the ones who are in the Tonga squad. Because some of the Tonga players play in the Super Rugby, some of them play in France. So if we can beef that up, also Shingai, who plays in France in top 14, is also rumoured. Yeah, he's rumoured. He's a loose forward. So if we can get all those professionals and sort of have, in soccer we've got the British Brigade. So if we sort of have the Europe Brigade and come up and represent Zim Rugby, we could have a shot.
It's quite a carrot to dangle, isn't it? You get to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, and some of the players, even if they want to stay in Europe, Probably they'll never be capped, maybe for France, for Italy. But for Zimbabwe, it's a chance to face England, play against Mario Itoje. You know, that's immense.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're in favor, because obviously we've just discussed the topic, local versus international players, that balance. It sounds like you're in favor of really getting as much international help as possible.
Not really, because if you look at the Sables setup, it's slightly balanced. You had your foreign based and you've got your locals. Like the captain, Hilton Ndayike, plays locally, and he's a hard worker, and his rugby IQ is up there. So it's more for balance, because the main reason why we're shouting about these players, especially like Gary Porter, Eli Sneeman, they're the locks, and it's a department where we've got a deficit as the Sables. We're lacking there. We don't have depth. But if you look at other positions like your scrum half or your center, where the vice captain, the enforcer, Kuzai Mashawi plays, he's a local-based player. But the way he bulldozed everyone like throughout the qualifiers, he's actually up there, his physicality. But it's about where we're lacking, where we need the European brigade.
That's true. And you brought up a very important word, which is professional. A lot of our players are diaspora. Teams we're playing against, they have rugby professionals. They're playing rugby day in and day out. Whereas here, our local-based players, they have their 9 to 5, and only after 5 are they then playing a bit of rugby. What do you think the Zimbabwean Rugby Board should be doing to take us from professional amateurs to professionals and a side that can really compete in the World Cup?
Well, if you followed, like, towards the end of the year last month, there was something called the Greek Cup, which was sort of a pilot of franchise rugby within Zim Rugby. So I'm sure that idea is going to grow going into next year. And the pilot, they mixed players from Matamba, from Mashonaland, and from Manicaland, like the Impies, which was the losing finalist, and they lost by 4 points. 10 players were from Bulawayo, but they were mixed with other players from Harare and Mutare. And you look at the winning team, Sunrays, had a mixture. So that kind of mixture of players playing for a certain team as a franchise, like how they do it anywhere abroad, probably is the way how we should grow the game as Zim Rugby. So I'm sure the pilot will grow further, and if corporates can come on board and sponsor it, probably we'll have more exciting times in rugby.
Yeah, I think so as well. One of the things about the Grid Cup is that the Sables were allowed to be incorporated, and it uplifted the game of rugby. Yes, they also chose the top 100 players in Zim, or however many it was. But next year, there will be the Nations Cup, and this Grid Cup happened in November, so they might have to reschedule or work around the calendar of the Sables, because it's very important that the Sables are included. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe rescheduling the Grid Cup, working around the calendar?
Well, a little bit, and the rumor mill already, they're trying to reschedule the Greek Cup. Next year, the Greek Cup will probably happen before the November test. So it's going to be used as preparation to select players, whether international or locally, for the November test. Because with the Nations Cup, we want to play 3 tests in the July window, which is the international window for World Rugby. Then we're going to play another 3 tests in November. So Greek Cup, already from what I've heard from the rumor mill, it's going to be slightly earlier than it was played. So it prepares players for the Nations Cup in November.
Yeah. And also exciting for the under-20s. They've got a busy calendar as well. This year they invited the Outback Barbarians and also the Sharks under-20 Academy. So Sean working really hard to get exposure. But also in December they're already there. I think they're already there in Dubai for the World Schools Tournament. Again, more exposure, playing at that top level. What are your thoughts on this in terms of exposure? Are they going to get better? Are we expecting good results, or are we expecting just more exposure?
I think we should expect more exposure. Sean, the last 2 birthdays, he's failed to win the tournament. So this tournament is right preparation. And also that he has started with the alignment camps. So with this tournament, you get to see what he has at his disposal pre-birthdays tournament next year. So it's a very vital tournament to see where he stands against the world's best.
Yeah. I think exciting times for them. World Cups are always an exciting thing to talk about. The Sables We've got a year and a half until the next World Cup. But our under-21 hockey ladies who I trained with had lots of fun. They're currently in Santiago, Chile for their Junior World Cup. And Steve, it's unfortunate the going is tough for them.
Yes, it is. So, and as always, have to put these things in context, in perspective. What were we expecting from the girls there? How big was the achievement that they qualified to go to the top table? Record losing margin to Belgium, 21-0. That certainly is painful. 6-1 to Chile. But for me, the fact that they made it there, big well done to them. And, we just got to say that it's another level when you get there, and you can't expect miracles. But 21-0 there. Obviously, you've got to say that was bad. But I would just be happy, as we were at the time, that they qualified and that they made it to the Under-21 World Cup.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. They're our only hockey team that make it to the World Cup. Our senior men's and ladies don't. Other Under-21, the boys' counterparts, they don't as well. So that in itself is an achievement. But also, this is their third qualification in a row. So they've proved that they are consistently going to these World Cups. The thing that's letting them down, though, is their preparation. They don't get to play Wales and Belgium before. All those European sides, they all play each other before, so they're used to that top level. We play the Africa Cup against Zambia, a pretty weak squad, and then between Namibia and South Africa, those are always the top three. So we only really get 2 solid games in before.
Yeah, it's a huge step up, isn't it? Of course, then there's their studies as well. It's not easy to prepare for it. So again, you've just got to have the right perspective that they did so well to qualify. But you need serious preparations if you expect to go there and get results.
Yeah, World Cups as well. Cricket, there's also some interesting times, a couple of good results. Steve, what's been happening in the cricket?
Yeah, cricket, it's a big week. It's the T20 domestic tournament. This was moved, by the way, talking about moving the Rugby Nations Cup. This was moved a month, switching with the Logan Cup because we're going in February to the T20 World Cup. So this is being cleverly used as preparations. It's not the tournament it was. Go back a couple of decades, this was a real highlight on the sporting calendar. Brian Lara, Chris Gale, both from the West Indies, came here as guest players. Many, many other big names came from England, New Zealand and elsewhere, and they were part of what initially was the Stanbic T20 Championship, and it was so exciting. This time it's all domestic players. And there's not the same buzz. However, Zim Cricket have decided to play games in the evening later on this week so that people can enjoy cricket under floodlights, and also so that the players can get the experience as well, or get more experience playing under lights as they get ready for the World Cup. But for those of us who were watching this 20 years ago, it's flat now, Sips.
Yeah, I think so. It seems that we've moved on from the NPL to the Zim Afro T10, T10 version.
Sure.
That's where the international players come in, but it's not really. It's T10, it's exciting, but you'd want your T20 maybe. That side of the aspect, but it seems
it's exciting. It was about 15 years ago when this was the Stanbic. I think it was 2009 when it was launched. But it has changed.
So lots of things changing, and even teams are changing as they go into the PSLs. Scotland once again have got a couple of rumours for us. So Simba, what is going on in the Scotland FC side?
Yeah, so Scotland are the moneybags, and they'll always be associated with the players. So the rumour is that Isaka Mohamed, the Ghanaian that we've been talking about being one of the outstanding players in the second half of the season, is reported to have signed up for Scotland. There is also Prince Tafire Musa. He was also being sorted out by Teo1, but it seems like Scotland have won the signature, and they'll be heading to Scotland. And Abubakar Moffat from Moss, also one of the players that Scotland wants. So they're trying to build a squad that is going to retain the league title and also do well in the African Champions League. And you also look at the age of the players that they are taking. And Emmanuel Jalai, again, is also rumored to have signed a pre-contract with them. When the Warriors played Qatar, and now probably might have signed because he's signed for Scotland. There's also probably 4 players coming in from Dynamos to Scotland.
So Dynamos are going to have to rebuild once again from a weakened position. Yeah.
Yeah, Dynamos are going to rebuild, and their coach also, Kevin Kayindu, is on his way out. And,
Wow.
Yeah. With Scotland, this season just ended, their bench was better than most of the teams in the PSL. So now they're going to have 30 plus players who could all be in the first team of any other PSL side. But that might seem a bit greedy, but the bigger picture is the CAF Champions League, and the group stage got underway for this season last month in November, so that would give them time to build. The preliminary rounds were in September and October. So what is exciting, as much as Scotland have all this money and this big advantage, what's exciting is that I think next season we can look forward to having a team that can compete and get into the group stage of the CAF Champions League, where you're then going to face, for sure, top teams from North Africa, and you need to be very strong there. So that's exciting, but it could make the PSL a bit of a walkover.
Yeah, for them it's about the Champions League, but on top of that, it's about dominance.
Right.
They want to dominate the local league, and that's the reason why also they brought in Nomen Mapeza, because you look at Nomen Mapeza when he came in at FC Platinum, it was a long-term project, and that's the reason why they also dominated the local league for some time, because of that foundation that was built. And another rumor also that Tundra Ndiraya might be heading to Chicken Inn, and Joy Antipas is going to be pushed upwards to be the technical director.
Yeah, I spoke to Ndiraya at the Soccer Stars. He said he can't say at this particular stage where he's going, but he wants to make history and win 3 titles in a row with 3 different clubs, which would be absolutely incredible if he could do that. I wondered, Tim, is he not a kind of coach who could also be poached by a South African club, maybe?
I don't think at the moment. I think, when he has been stable at one club and then he wins another title at one club, and then they see the consistency that he will be doing at that club. So when you look at our league and the team that have been winning the title, it's because they have been buying, players. And, when you got the quality, you're going to win. But if he is to go to South Africa, it's not going to be the same situation. He's not going to your Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, or the top teams. Yeah. It will be the small teams, and you're not having that luxury of having the quality players in that team. So they would look at somebody who might have done well consistently with one team, and without big name players in that team.
Right, so it's difficult. Yeah.
So I think also maybe as Scotland, are they taking maybe a chapter out of we're not taking a chapter out of Simba, but learning from Simba Bora maybe, because just of the sheer numbers of players that they're buying, could they possibly be having 2 squad, like a main squad which will be going to the CAF Champs, hopefully get past the preliminary stages, and then also a squad which will be in the PSL, because just the numbers of who they're buying and the depth, the quality. Only 11 players can play at a time, so do you think that could also be a possibility where they don't want player fatigue to affect their
it might be a possibility, but when you look at the players that they're getting right now, just look at the age. It tells you it's not about the next season. It's all about the future, the continuity. And look, if Emmanuel Jalai is going to go that direction, look at his age. Prince Tafremusa is still very young. Isaka Mohamed, and then you have players that are already there, Kingsley Mremba, Mafias Chiweta, Tadiwa Chapchichi, and Nathan Mtasa. So you look at that age, it shows you that it's a bigger project.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's also lots going at Highlanders. Navaya made an offer to Highlanders Simba. What was that offer all about to them, about the new head coach position?
So you are saying that he's offering them that if they take Benjamin Marwari as the head coach, he's going to pay for his salary and allowances. And in that reply by Highlanders, they didn't say anything, that they didn't deny that they would take Benjamin Marwari, because as it stands, reports are that they are negotiating with Benjamin Marwari behind the scenes. But Highlanders didn't deny it, but they just said that they have got the channels that they follow when they want to employ a coach. And this is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. Now they are negotiating with Benjani. And, if they agree on certain things, then they'll just announce it. But it's looks like mostly that, they're going to agree and have Benjani coming in there. And there is a possibility also that, Johannes Ngozo, their former midfielder who was with Agwanda Pirates and he finished third in the Central Region Soccer League, he will be coming in as one of the first assistants. And there was rumor that Mkokeli Dube might also be coming in as one of the assistants. Remember, he's got his team, which plays in the Southern Region Division 1 League, Zebra Revolution. But Mkokeli Dube might also be going to FC Platinum, his former team. Joe Lupatla is said to be wanting him to come in as one of the assistants. So Simon Sibanda might also be one of the assistants at Highlanders. So, yeah, still a rumor, but Johannes Ngozo to Highlanders is most likely to happen, the same as Benjamin Maruare going in there as well.
So a lot of their technical team is being changed, but we haven't seen much from their players. They haven't seemed to be making transfers. Are they? Do you think once the deal is signed with Benjani, do you think then they'll start to get in players, or what's happening, do you think, on the transfer side?
It is the coach that recommends the players to the executive which players to buy. So it's part of the negotiation that the coach will be doing with the executive to say, if I'm to get in, I want A, B, C, D players. But on top of that, it is the money that talks. So Islanders at the moment, Dynamos at the moment, they don't have that money at the moment to splash. They'll be waiting for the benefactors to pour in money, because at the moment these two teams cannot match what other teams that are owned by individuals are doing. For Caps United, it's because Farage is liquid these days. And that's the reason why he bought 11 players already. He signed 11 players already. And for Dynamos, there is no individual who can pour his money. At Highlanders, there is no individual who can pour his money to say, I want to send these players.
Yeah, interesting. We know that, Brian, that Pete Bernardi, the head coach of the Sables, he's obviously not going, he's just qualified for the World Cup, so all very happy with him. But in terms of his assistant, Ricky Chiringende, do you think he will be the next man in line for the Sables job, or will we look to another international coach?
Well, next in line probably post World Cup 2027, because Ricky Chiringede is now a level 3 coach and he's been acquiring badges. Sometime this year he had an attachment with the Sharks with John Plumtree and JP Peterson. He was part of the setup, learning how they prepare for a game. So he's probably one for the future, but not for the immediate.
Yeah. I was about to say, as early as 2027, do you think, afterwards, or surely maybe 2029 or the next World Cup?
Probably afterwards, but probably he might not get full reign, because Pete Bernardi has taken us to the promised land.
Yeah.
So he needs to see his team there. But I'm sure long term, since he's a bit younger, and I'm sure after a few feeling playing at the World Cup, I'm sure Pete is willing to take a back seat for the Sables and focus with his family and other things, because he would feel he has taken Zimbabwe where he thought they belong.
Yeah, exactly. He would have done
Yeah,
his job.
sure.
So, exciting things to think about the 2026 Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season. What an exciting time it is to behold. Oof, it's going to be a great year ahead. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that every time we upload a video, you are notified. Simba and Brian, thank you for sitting in the fan zone with us. It's been a great conversation. And for the viewers, remember, the Pride of Africa Predictor is coming. So sign up now. Do not miss out. There are lots of prizes to be won. If you are jealous of all the other PSL winners from that predictor, this is now your chance to have a time and win yourself some prizes going into December. So that's us from the Fanzone team, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.